If you've been injured at work, all you want to do is get back to your job. But the process can be confusing and confronting. Worker Assist Tasmania can help by providing free, independent information and advice about workers' compensation, rehabilitation and return to work. Take the next step. Call Worker Assist Tasmania.
Hi everyone, minor technological issue here. Hang on a sec. The course of YouTube never runs smoothly. One moment. Hello everyone. I'm Tori. I am your facilitator today. I just had a little stumbling block there. The presentation didn't like moving on from the fabulous Worker Assist TV commercial. So I'm just sorting all of this out. Typical YouTube, right? There's always a few hiccups along the way. But welcome one and all to Worker Assist's very first ever YouTube Live. It is part of Law Week 2023. It's very exciting and good to see there's already some people watching. Please join in the chat. If you would like to participate in chat and you're new to YouTube, down where the chat box is on the right of the screen, it will say that you need to create a channel. You don't ever have to put anything on your own channel. It's just the word that's used on YouTube, a bit like profile on Facebook. And once you've created your little channel, and it won't take very long at all, you'll be able to participate in the chat. So hopefully you'll get onto that because it'll be really fun to have some interaction as we go through this. Before we kick off, though, I would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians, the Palawa and Pagana people, their elders past and present, upon whose land our building stands. Now I'm just going to put myself into the shot. Look at this. Look at this. This is technology at its finest. Okay, so this is going to be a very fun and informative session about Worker Assist, who we are, what we do. We're also going to be chatting about workers' compensation, but a tiny disclaimer, every state in Australia has got its own act. So if you're outside of Tasmania and you're joining in today, please make sure if you have a workers' comp question, you need to speak to a lawyer or a community legal centre where you live because the acts are very different. Oh, we've got people rolling in. Fantastic. Hi, Scout Inquirer. Hello, Cass. Good to see you. Hey, Kylie, here and present. Good to have you all here. What I might do is give you groovers. Oh, I've got to use the professional lingo on YouTube as a worker assist lawyer and not call everyone groovers. It's force of habit. Sorry. I do love YouTube and have my own channels, but I'm going to make a few of you moderators. So just to protect us if anybody pops in and trolls us or anything like that. So hopefully the three of you, since you were the first all to say hello, are happy to be moderators. Really just to keep an eye on trolls if you could, because it is YouTube and we do get odd people sometimes cruising around on YouTube, don't we? So we've got three moderators. That should be good for now. So Kylie, Cass and Scout Inquirer, you're all mods. Hopefully you've got your little blue wrenches. I'll wait till one of you says something so I can just double check. But yeah, if you could just keep an eye for any trolls and just block them, or any of the bot trolls that come along. I mean, unless they're showing a genuine interest in Worker Assist and workers' compensation. Some trolls like to be informed. But hopefully you're all, yes, you are, Cass, awesome. And hopefully Kylie and Scout are as well. So you'll be able to keep chat moving. But this is YouTube. YouTube is a very interactive platform. I have allocated time at the end to go through any Q&As that you might have. If you ask questions while we're just sort of having a general information type chat, I probably will leave those till the end because we do have a bit to go through just in terms of Worker Assist and awareness about what we do and what we offer to Tasmanian workers. And I'm more than happy, though, to answer questions as we go along. There's a lot of information in the presentation that I've got, so we can jump from slide to slide if there are specific questions. And, yes, there'll be plenty of opportunity at the end for questions as well. If you do have a very specific and complex legal question regarding workers' comp in Tasmania, I will be recommending that you contact Worker Assist and make a time to see one of the solicitors, even me. There's a ticker scrolling along the bottom of the screen. It has all the ways you can contact us. Our phone number is there. You can send us an email to Worker Assist, all one word, at workerassist, all one word, .org.au. It's all scrolling. Or you can send us a message on Facebook or LinkedIn. And on the banner of the YouTube channel, down in the bottom right hand, you'll see the icons for Facebook and LinkedIn and also our website. So if you click on any of those, they will take you direct and you can follow us on Facebook, follow us on LinkedIn, or you can just check out our website. And welcome, Morgan. Yes. Good afternoon. So you're somewhere far, far away. Good to have you here. Oh, no, it is afternoon. Sorry. Feels like it's still the morning. I might give you a wrench to Morgan just to make sure we're covered for the live. So as a moderator with your little blue wrench, you have got the power to time out any bots or trolls who come into the live causing mischiefs. If you do have any questions, just ask me about if there's anyone you think needs to be timed out. But actually, I'm quite happy just to leave it in your hands. I think some of you are experienced YouTubers and you'll be able to deal with any bots or trolls as they arrive. Okay. Just a quick reminder about YouTube etiquette as well. Don't forget, if you haven't already, to hit the subscribe button. Also, when you hit that button, there are notification buttons. It's a little bell. Make sure you click on all. That way, anytime we go live again, and hopefully we'll go live again on YouTube, I think it's a great way to educate the community about what we do and help people out. And also any content that we upload to this channel as well. If you could also hit the like button if you haven't already. In some parts of the YouTube world, it's called signing the guest book. Others say it's putting your DNA on the button, especially the true crime community. So if you could hit the like button too, that will get us out on the algorithm as well. People will know that we're live. If you want to share it with friends and family, Tasmanians, Tasmanian workers, please do so. You can share the link direct out onto your own social media. We are live for 90 minutes, so there's plenty of time for people to come and pop in and say hi, even on their lunch break if they've got a question, and chat away. If you'd like to ask me a question too, if you put at Worker Assist when you're typing in the chat box, it will make things bright orange and I'll be able to see them, because I'm going to be jumping between StreamYard, which is a streaming platform I'm using, and also the presentation. So if you do have questions and you want me to notice them, please just tag my name or tag Worker Assist and I'll see them in the chat. Thank you very much, Scout. Yeah, well, the Worker Assist YouTube channel, hopefully over time we'll have other members of the Worker Assist team also doing lives on YouTube. It'll be great if it becomes a regular thing. We can do specific topics regarding workers' compensation or changes to legislation that might be happening, or we can do one, on things that we're seeing happening more often, like trends in the workers' compensation sphere. And yeah, some of the other worker assist solicitors might also be able to utilize the platform. So it's 1, 2, if you could share it out amongst all of your networks, that would be fantastic too, so we can build a good little channel. And thank you to everyone who's subscribed so far. Okay, we might just ask a few icebreaker questions. You guys are pretty chatty already, which is cool. It's not an exam. I'm going to full screen this. But just to get everyone chatting, because there's more people watching than there are people chatting. So we're going to kick off with some little icebreaker questions just while we wait for a few more people to join. And I think at about the 15-minute mark, we'll kick off with the presentation. So to chat, what was the last thing any of you purchased online? I actually love online shopping rather than having to drive into Hobart, which I call the little smoke, and find a car park. Tasmania has gotten so popular and so busy. It's so much easier just to do your research online, find the products that you want, order them, and then have them delivered to your door. But do we have any online shoppers? Yes, it has nothing to do with Worker Assist well, it does actually. I think everyone at Worker Assist is a fan of the online shopping. You bought more RAM for your laptop. Interesting. My laptop, I've got 2 laptops going today for this, and my laptop was really playing up this morning. And maybe I need to buy some more RAM too. Scout Inquirer, some dog food and supplies from Chewy's. Handy. Get that stuff delivered to your door. Torches, Cass. What do you need torches for? Are you going camping? Or do you mean like the flame torches, that are often burning outside tropical restaurants and cafes? Just wait a minute. There is a slight pause too between the streaming platform and YouTube. Oh, a knee brace for the other half, Kylie. Yeah. Well, I've got 3 here, having endured a partially dislocated kneecap for the last few months. I really feel for your other half. It's not nice. But braces are amazing. That's my tip for the day. I think everyone should just go out and buy. Next time you're in a pharmacy, grab a knee brace and just have it on hand, because as unpleasant as my knee was, my GP and physio both said that getting a brace onto it as quickly as possible is very good. Hi, Emily. Answering hard questions you can't remember. You buy too much online. Well, let's move on to the next one then. What did you guys have for breakfast today? Some of you know I do cooking on another YouTube channel, and I made some amazing food yesterday, including some zucchini, ricotta, and cherry tomato muffins. And that's what I had for more like brunch time. Heated it up with some, added some butter and a bit of cracked pepper. Delicious. It's really good to have you here too, everybody. Thank you so much for joining in. I'm hoping one of the Worker Assist solicitors might be able to drop in, and if there's any tricky questions, I'm going to say, hey, they're in the chat, ask them. Belgian waffles and maple pork sausage. Wow. That's a banquet. Yum. I hope some people that are taking their lunch breaks will be able to pop in as well. And we might have to pick their brains a little bit later and see what they're up to. All right, last question. Let's go to question 5. Drop in the chat your most frequently used emoji. It does say emoji or GIF, but let's just go with emojis because YouTube speaks emoji. And I'm curious to see. Oh, I have to actually go over to YouTube to do French toast. It was lovely. Yeah, that's my favourite laughing one too. I use it all the time. And I'm surprised. Look, I used to be painful, according to everyone who knows me, for using way too many exclamation marks. And now I use way too many of the laughing face. Oh, a ham and cheese omelette with sausage. That sounds good too, Cass. Now I feel like we've got too many moderators, maybe, or Emily might feel left out because she doesn't have one. Maybe everyone who comes into chat will get one. Why not? You can all block trolls. This is an interactive show. So Scout loves the hearts and hugs one. Cass likes the smiley face or the laughing one on an angle. And Kylie, the thumbs up. Well, there you go. I think we've dealt with some good icebreakers there. Let's move on. Right, so we do have a loose agenda today. It's not like an official formal staff meeting or anything like that, but we do have a few things to chat about. Firstly, I'm going to tell you all about Worker Assist. Very proud to work for Worker Assist and the things that we do and the amount of things that we can do. Being a small service, it's pretty extraordinary. Very rewarding work. It can be very intense as well. But just that feeling when you leave work every day that you've helped people and made their lives a little bit easier, it's so rewarding. You can't put any value on that. It's invaluable. We'll chat a bit about workers' compensation too, depending on how much you guys know about it. And in particular, we'll be looking at workers' comp in Tasmania, which, like I was saying a bit earlier, it is very important that if anyone joins us today from other states in Australia, if you do have a workers' comp legal question, it's really important that you speak to a lawyer in your respective state because the acts are different in each state. I actually started out doing workers' compensation in South Australia and now I'm in Tasmania doing it. And while there are some similarities, there's also some pretty big differences. So, oh, the upside down smiley face. Really? That's your most popular, your favourite one to use? I can't say I've ever used that, to be honest. We might all have to do the upside down smiley. We'll look at some data and statistics too, just to give everyone an overview of the trends that we're seeing at Worker Assist, particular injuries that might be on the increase, the amount of calls that we do in a week and a year. We'll have a look at a lot of different stats, which I always find very interesting and very telling. And then we've also got, if we get to it, and I don't know whether we will or not, but it could be a fantastic thing to do for our next YouTube live because I'd really like to do more of these. I think a lot of the time too, we speak to clients and although they have a workers' compensation claim, they might be back at work and needing to talk during a lunch break. And YouTube provides a forum where they can pop in with a quick question as well. So it could end up being a really good way for us to give some general advice to people as well when they're a bit pressed for time or if it's easier for them to jump onto YouTube. We definitely encourage people to message us on Facebook, LinkedIn. You know, if you're still old-fashioned and like to use the telephone, go for it, or send us an email. But the thing with the social media platforms and LinkedIn and also hopefully YouTube is that you can get attention pretty quickly. So especially with a live on YouTube, you can just roll in and say, hey, I've got a quick question. So please do. We do obviously, though, with our clients, we do like to keep records of everyone in a database and so on. So we would definitely offer that, I think, to someone who's already an existing client. If they're a new client, I'd suggest that they make a time for us to do intake and put them on our system. But if we do get time, we've got some tips. We've got 9 tips because Melinda, our principal solicitor, said she was at a conference and they were saying that top 10 is made up. Like there's no such thing as top 10. People find a 10th thing. So we're being cool and we've got 9 tips. And like I said, plenty of time for questions throughout. Do ask any questions as we go along. More than happy to answer them. And also just want to refresh my YouTube screen because I look like I'm Oh, no, there we go. It had stalled for some reason. It was stuck back on the screen that had my photo on it. So, yeah, please ask questions as we go along. This is all about being chatty. If you know anyone who is in Tassie, who's a worker, feel free again to share out to your social media and drag some people in. And lots of question time at the end, and also ways you can contact us down below. So a bit about where I work, Worker Assist Tasmania, who we are, what we do. I'm also having to train my brain. I am using 2 different mousies at the moment. I keep grabbing the wrong mouse for the wrong laptop. Look, we're all learning this together. We're going to look back on this live and say, look how far we've come. I regret not bringing a Worker Assist mug home with me. We do have fabulous mugs. Hello, Casper. Welcome. Good to see you. So a bit about Worker Assist Tasmania. Since 2011, I should have a sip of my coffee. I hope you've all got your beverages and snacks ready. So we've been helping injured workers in Tasmania and their families as well, providing free, unbiased legal advice and also offering a lot of support as well. And we also provide much needed information. We also can refer our clients to specific services or other organisations if they have questions outside the sphere of workers' comp. We're a community legal centre and we're funded by the Work Cover Board of Tasmania. But the aim of the service essentially is empowering our clients, our worker clients, in the early resolution of any disputes that might pop up with their claims. We also promote and assist an early return to work. And if workers find us from the start, even before they've lodged a claim, they get a lot of free legal advice as they navigate the workers' comp process, which can be pretty daunting, even with an injury like a broken finger. It can be fairly intense. Super proud to work for Worker Assist. We're the only community legal centre in Australia that specifically focuses on giving legal advice regarding workers' comp. So we're very proud of that fact. And we do a lot of other things as well as legal advice, which I'll get into in a minute. But part of what we do as well is community legal education, and we want to expand from being an advisory service and do a lot more events like this one on YouTube, but also out in the community, and provide as much information as we can to workers even before they get injured. Like, we want people to know that if they get injured, they need to call us straight away. Now, like all reputable organisations and businesses, we have a vision, which is an empowered community that values equal access to justice and creates safe workplaces for Tasmanian workers. Our mission is to work in partnership with the community, with businesses, government, to provide free and independent legal advice and also information to all Tasmanian workers under the Workers Rehabilitation and Compensation Act 1988 as amended, Tasmania. We provide a safe, caring and supportive environment that's accessible to all of the community, and we really do try hard to educate people about our service in every single corner of this magical little island. We don't want any worker to miss out on being able to access our service. And our values are that all Tasmanians should have access to free, high-quality legal advice when they've been injured at work. So let's meet the fabulous Worker Assist team. We're little. We're a little service, and I've been with Worker Assist, it'll be 2 years in August. And I will always be amazed at how much work we do and how many workers we help with such a tiny team. So obviously with having had my camera on, I'm the person on the left. Welcome, Bristol. Good to see you. Next to me, to the right of me, is the lovely Dell, beautiful Dell. She's the backbone of Worker Assist. She organises everything. She organises us, and we need help with that a lot. She organises all the appointments with our clients, doing client intake. She is my Linda, who's in the middle. She's my Linda's right-hand person for absolutely everything. There's very few things Dell can't do, although she did say she doesn't like doing graphics and things like that on her computer, but really, we'll take that. But yeah, so that's Dell. In the middle is my Linda. She's our principal solicitor. She has had a lot of experience in workers' compensation, personal injury for a long time before coming to Worker Assist as the principal solicitor. She always has incredible lipstick colours on her face. Wherever she is, whatever she's doing, she's renowned for that. And, yeah, a wealth of experience. She's like a walking encyclopedia when it comes to workers' comp and, well, any area of law really that touches in that sort of area, and personal injury as well. But primarily, I mean, we do workers' comp. That's our specific field. She's in the chat. I saw the lipstick before the name. No, I'm kidding. Hi, Marlinda. Having a little breather. So, yeah, we've got the principal solicitor at Worker Assist in chat right now. So if any of you have really curly questions, she's the one to ask. To the right of my Linda on the screen, that stunning redhead, that's beautiful Sarah, who is working very hard today. She's another solicitor at Worker Assist, and her claim to fame, most recent claim to fame, is her husband called her bro this morning. She's far from it. She's an absolute sweetheart. My first ever dealings with Worker Assist were actually with Sarah, and she was so lovely with me on the phone. I felt very supported, and, yeah, great girl. And then on the right, we have Kawindi, one of the other solicitors. So that's the team. And then in addition to that, we run an invaluable volunteer program. We've currently got 6 volunteers at the service. We'd be absolutely lost without them. They are all very enthusiastic and get on top of things very quickly. If you're interested in volunteering with Worker Assist, we would love to hear from you, or if you know anyone. Hey, Sarah. Thanks, bro. Hi, Sarah. And Dell too. Oh, look at Dell multitasking. Well, you've got the team in chat, guys, so go for it, guys and bros. Yeah, if you know anyone in Tassie who would like to volunteer with us, our next intake is in August. And you just need to send your CV. Once again, all of our contact details are scrolling across the bottom of the screen. So feel free to contact us if you're interested in volunteering with us in the next intake in August. I just had a thought. That's why I paused. One day we can actually do, I should have mentioned this to the Worker Assist team, we can actually have, us all up on panel. It doesn't even just have to be me. Like we could do a clinic and have 3 of us live, or we could all be sitting up there answering questions. So I just had that thought. All right. Put myself back on the screen. It's very cool to have everyone from the team in here. And, yeah, Dell multitasking. I hope you don't end up typing things I'm saying on YouTube into the minutes. Or if you do, and when we look at the minutes, we'll be like, that was a bit random. So I've mentioned we're a free specialist legal advisory service available to all injured Tasmanian workers. And there are, as I've mentioned a few times now, lots of ways you can contact us. And again, with YouTube on the banner, on the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see the icon for Facebook, LinkedIn, and also our website. They're all great ways to contact us as well. Ideally, we'd like to get workers even before they've lodged their claim or right at the start of their claim, because the amount of support and advice we can give along the way, we have a lot of data and feedback from our clients that shows getting onto Worker Assist at the start of a claim makes their journey as they navigate the workers' comp process a lot smoother and easier. It's a daunting process, even with legal advice along the way, but it definitely, the feedback we get is that it's of great benefit to them, and they feel like they're heard right from the start and have someone who has their best interests at heart, and we certainly do. Obviously, though, if a client comes along and they're well into their claim and they have an issue to deal with, we're there to help them as well. But, my heart sinks. Sometimes I think, I wish you'd known about us from the start. So one of our aims is to be known all over the island. So any worker who gets injured or any worker who knows a worker who gets injured, straight up, they're like, call Worker Assist. You're loving it so far, Del. It's great fun. It's a great platform, YouTube. It's got a nice feel to it. You feel like you're sort of sitting around chatting, having cuppas and stuff, while also being educational. It's great fun. The other thing that really stands out to me working at Worker Assist compared to other jobs I've had as a lawyer is just the amount of compassion and understanding that we offer our clients as well. It's an isolating experience, a workers' comp claim. And again, a lot of our clients give us feedback about how they finally felt like they've been heard. And it's just reassuring, not all lawyers are lacking compassion and empathy. You really couldn't work in this area if you lacked those qualities. And we do get a lot of feedback from our clients as well about that. In fact, we've had feedback, that they're actually amazed that we're lawyers. Because lawyers get such a bad rap out there, but we're not all bad, and we're definitely not bad at Worker Assist. We've really got three arms to Worker Assist. Obviously, the legal advice is very important, the main thing that we do. We also do the community legal education. The staff all go out and about on the island, especially my Linda and Sarah, to conferences up in the north of the state, northwest, all over the island, out into the suburbs. With Del this week with Law Week, we've got Sarah and Del and Melinda are all heading out and about into the community. We've got me here on YouTube. There's lots of things that we do in terms of educating people about our service. We really want to hone into medical practitioners as well, and psychologists, psychiatrists, because they're often the first people that are really dealing with workers at the start of their claim. And again, we just want people to know we exist and the services that we provide. And we've also got our third arm is more sort of legislative comment, and that's really Melinda's baby, looking at the legislation, areas that are becoming outdated and might need a bit of tweaking. The Act hasn't really kept up with the reality of what workers' comp claims are like now, especially psych injuries. I mean, it can be psychologically draining to have a workers' comp claim for a broken bone, but we are seeing a spike in mental health claims, and the process and the legislation aren't really ideally tailored to suit those sorts of claims. Even the tribunal is aware of that. So that's another thing that Worker Assist does, is advocacy and legislative comment to hopefully make it a fairer system for all Tasmanian workers who end up with a claim. I think that's probably it. But Melinda's really the one that does all of the third arm stuff. And down the bottom left hand of the screen, you can see the work cover logo. She deals with them a lot. And WorkSafe Tasmania, they're sort of the regulator of employers in the state, WorkSafe. So we're always working with other organisations to try to improve the process as much as we can. So the next slide looks at some of the issues that we deal with. I'm going to full screen it because it's got some fairly small print. And I must be doing a good job because I can't see any questions yet. Melinda welcomed everyone, which is great. Put Dell, she's loving it so far. Oh, thank you. Look, Scout has gone straight into moderator mode, reminding everyone to, yeah, please do hit the like button, subscribe, tap the notification bell, comment, share. And also thank you to the subscribers of mine who have already subscribed to this channel. It's a very new channel. There were 5 subscribers last week, and I went live a couple of times over the weekend, and we're now over 20 subscribers. That's so exciting. The channel will just continue to grow, and the more we spread the word, the better. So let's have a look at some of the things that we deal with on a daily basis at Worker Assist. We get a lot of clients now, more than when I first started, who have been injured and they contact us and they need help even with the lodging of their claims, and that's what we want. We want to be with them and able to help them the whole way through. So we have a lot of clients who come in and have face-to-face meetings with us, and we sit down with them and help them complete the forms. The forms can be pretty daunting. I mean, I think a lot of people find filling out a form daunting anyway, and you want to make sure you use the right wording. We've got a lot of CALS workers. They're culturally and linguistically different workers that may need assistance because English isn't their first language. Also, we do training because we have a lot of clients too that may have literacy and numeracy issues, and I really like that we've teamed up with 2610, which is an organisation that looks at adult literacy and numeracy. It's an area that some of you guys know I already volunteer as a tutor. And to just be able to say to workers, come in, we'll help you fill out the form, or we can do it over the phone if that's more convenient. If there's an incident that might need to be reported to WorkSafe, we can help our clients with that as well. We also get clients sometimes that have questions because they might be moving interstate while they have a claim. We do get a lot of client inquiries about rehab and return to work, which is an integral part of the process. It's not a coincidence that it's the Workers Rehabilitation and Compensation Act. Rehabilitation is the focus of the Act, getting people back to work. But we're able to help with things like that. We can help with issues that their worker might have with their medical treatment, their employers. If someone has received a request from the insurer and they want to provide a statement as part of an investigation, we also give advice on a thing which is a head of damage under the Act called a whole person impairment, or a WPI. Workers often get sent off to an independent medical examination, which is organised by the insurer, and we're able to give our clients advice prior to that appointment, and also what processes they need to follow if they wish to dispute that. So, yeah, we deal with a lot of different issues, and many of them are typical issues during the lifetime of a workers' comp claim, but we get a lot of curly questions every now and then too. There's always something to learn. There's always a new situation. COVID obviously added a whole new area of advice and questions that we hadn't really experienced before. This is so strange. I really don't know what's going on with YouTube. It keeps, I have to keep refreshing because it's sort of, and now it's back on the correct screen. Okay. A few teething problems, but I'm not sure what YouTube's up to today. Wow, we've got 23 subscribers now. Go, you good things, go. That's really exciting. Thank you so much. In terms of injuries, we have clients with every injury imaginable, really. Brain injuries, we get clients with multiple fractures. We do have a lot of, unfortunately, mental health Claims now, a lot of psychological injuries. It's not uncommon even for workers who had a physical injury to end up with a secondary psychological injury as a result of how they may be treated by their employer or even just navigating the workers' comp process. We also love feedback from our clients. We do survey our clients and call them for follow-ups just to see how they're going. And I really love that about the service too. It's that reminder that even though their matter might have been finalised, or they might have had to instruct lawyers because there may be a dispute that needs to be taken to the tribunal, the fact that we still follow up to see how they're doing, I think that's a really lovely aspect of the service as well, because often I think we all experience things in our lifetimes and then, the phone stops ringing or the emails stop coming and you just feel forgotten. I love that we do check in, and it's really lovely to hear some of the stories about how people are back at work and they're thriving. Some of them might have even moved, interstate, or might have moved to a new job. But also sometimes we speak to our clients in follow-ups and they actually have other issues that we can also help them with. So it's a big part of the work that we do that I'm really proud to do. I find it incredibly rewarding. It's nice to hear, oh, YouTube is being difficult again. Yeah, okay. I didn't have time this morning to check out if YouTube was behaving or not, but look, we can all be a bit wonky at times. I think we're definitely going to have to do a part 2 as well, because we've got so many things to chat about. I must be very thorough. I haven't seen one question yet. But do jump in if you have any questions. More than happy to answer them. Okay, so obviously workers' comp is the area that we specialise in, and we really could talk about workers' comp for days. But I'm keen to hear what you guys know about workers' comp. So I've already mentioned our Act, and while you're thinking up some questions, there's 3 different questions on the screen if you feel like having a look at them and responding. We've got, what do you know about workers' compensation? How do we know it's a claim? And how can Worker Assist help? Just based on some of the things I've been chatting about. But what I'm also going to do, I'm just going to get up our Act and I'm going to drop the link into chat. And I'll actually pin it. So that anyone that wants to access a copy for themselves, an online copy, you're able to. It's just a really good reference point if you like reading legislation, of course. So I'm just dropping that into chat now, and I'm going to pin it over on YouTube so that you've all got the link if you're curious to check out our Act, or to pass it on to anyone you know who might need it. I mean, Worker Assist, we do have access to a lot of resources, organisations outside of the sphere of what we do that we refer our clients to, and we pride ourselves on not only providing educational information, things like the link to the Act and so on, but we also put together documents. We've got one which I use a lot, which is a flow chart that it's a very straightforward, simple flow chart that just explains the workers' compensation process. And we're always updating and looking at, merchandise and all sorts of things. But yes, we do a lot of referrals out to other organisations like the Fair Work Ombudsman or WorkSafe, or community legal centres that handle industrial law matters, because sometimes workers' comp and industrial law overlap a little bit. So even if a worker contacts us and it might be a question that's outside our sphere of what we do, we have access to so many different referral services, like even, the sort of community services. If we've got clients that are suffering hardship, we've got links and information to a lot of different organisations that can help them. So we don't have anyone leaping out of their skin with a question about workers' comp. What's wrong with you guys? Come on. Am I being thorough? I'm hoping that YouTube, it's just the screen that's misbehaving, not chat. But look, you guys got gold stars for what you had for breakfast question. So, Cass, I didn't know that mental health issues that arise from the stress of the injuries employers could be a workers' comp. Interesting. Well, it is very much a case-by-case basis. I mean, it is true to say that a lot of workers on a workers' comp claim experience a lot of stress just by nature of the process. Whether or not that injury amounts to being a claim or not is a different issue, and it will rely on medical evidence to support that. But there are certainly plenty of cases, unfortunately, of workers who've had a claim and then have been bullied by their employer because they've had a claim. So, yeah, there can be claims that are secondary to their initial claim for sure. But I don't think anyone can go through the workers' comp process without experiencing stress and anxiety at some point along the way. Whether or not it does correlate directly to being an injury that occurred at work, and they're the critical components to having a claim in Tasmania. So here's Melinda with her good experience too. Exactly. Some doctors aren't aware either. That's so true. And we encourage any client we speak to, especially our male clients, I find more often than not, they'll talk to us about how the process has affected their mental health and how it's affecting them, and how the impact on their family is making them feel guilty. And we always encourage our clients to talk to their doctors about it as soon as they say anything like that. It's not as uncommon as it was even a couple of years ago when it'll be 2 years in August. When I first started, there were a lot of men that talked about how it was impacting them to me but hadn't spoken to their doctors. But I'm finding that there are a lot of workers now who are being open with their doctors, which is fantastic. And I don't know whether it's because mental health has had a lot of press and there's been a lot of men speaking up about having mental health issues as well, or whether it's because they've been encouraged by, friends that have had workers' comp claims who may have dealt with us who've encouraged them to do it. But Melinda's right too. There's a lot of people, a lot of workers that won't even discuss that side of it. One of the reasons too is when you're in the workers' comp process in Tassie, your rehabilitation officer, your return to work person attends your GP appointments with you. And although it's not written in the legislation, it is deemed acceptable practice here that a worker can ask their rehab to stay out of the doctor's appointment until the end of the appointment when the return to work discussions take place. And I think a lot of workers haven't known that they can do that. So when they're in the appointment with their rehab return to work person, they may not feel comfortable opening up about how it's impacting their mental health as well. So Worker Assist being able to let clients know that they can ask the rehabs to stay out till the end, I think that's a fairly empowering bit of advice for many. And that's when we can also really encourage people to open up and take that first part of the appointment as being when you talk about how things are impacting you with your GP. So, yeah, I've seen a tiny shift, and any shift is a good one. But it's interesting that a lot of people just don't feel comfortable talking about it, especially with a rehab who's been appointed by the insurer and is sitting in the appointment with you. That being said, too, there's a lot of rehabs that are aware of the being asked to stay out of the appointments, and they often will say to the worker, do you want me to wait out? So there's movement in the right direction, but hopefully there'll be even more people opening up about the process, and hopefully the process can be improved too to reduce the amount of stress and anxiety that having a claim can cause. Is she doing, wow, 39.6. I'm assuming that's raging. This is the thing when you don't have the kidlets. I don't even know what a healthy temperature is. Linda's multitasking too. She's playing nurse and also participating in chat. Look at us go. We are the multitaskers. I mean, I'm kind of multitasking too. I've got screens and mouses and all sorts of things going on. So just back to a few basic things about workers' comp in Tassie. It is a no-fault scheme, which is different to most types of insurance where somebody will be found to be negligent and therefore responsible for paying damages. With workers' comp, it's a no-fault process. So nobody is blamed for it. The irony of workers' comp that can get so difficult for people is it really is a straightforward insurance transaction. Businesses have to take out a policy to insure their workers in case they get injured at work. A worker gets injured, they lodge the claim and follow that process. And it's an insurance transaction. The employer then gets all of the paperwork off to the insurer. The insurer can take up to 84 days to make a decision whether they're going to accept, deny, or dispute the claim. While that's happening, the worker gets paid their basic salary and also up to $5,000 in medical expenses. And at the end, whether the claim is accepted or denied or if it's accepted, it will just roll on. But if it's denied or disputed, the worker isn't responsible for paying back a cent to the insurer. That's offered to them in good faith while the insurer makes all necessary inquiries and investigations to decide what to do with the claim. In addition to the medical expenses and the weekly benefits that we just discussed, there's also rehabilitation expenses that get covered, things like medication. If you need to get like a crutch or a set of crutches, for example, and hire that. There are also other areas that can be covered too, like people's injuries prevent them from cleaning the house or getting the garden under control, like mowing the lawns and so on. Sometimes they can be covered by the insurer as well. And also funeral benefits in the tragic event that a worker has actually died due to a work injury. And then once the matter is reaching the end of it, if a worker has been assessed with what is called a whole person impairment, or a WPI, the Act actually has a formula in there that you can calculate if you're assessed at a percentage above the minimum threshold. There's an equation under the Act and it will calculate a lump sum payment to you because you're now living with a permanent impairment because of your injury. So quite a few different heads of cover. Tori's beautiful voice is sending, so funny, Linda. I always think I sound really monotone and grumpy. So if I'm putting her back to sleep, bless. I did do some bedtime stories on YouTube for a little while. I really enjoyed it. I should get back into that too. Yeah, I hope she feels so much better. And look at all the love she's getting in chat too, Linda. Very caring, the YouTube world. It is a lovely supportive platform, especially when you've built a community of people that get to know you and keep coming back to your channel. It's don't get me wrong, like all social media, there can be a bit of angst and arguing and so on. But once you've got a really nice little community happening on YouTube, there's a lot of love and everyone looks after each other. And that's why I really like it. I think some other social media platforms have lost that sense of community and looking out for each other. They're really just forums for fighting. So hopefully this channel will build a really great community as well. And yeah, the people on YouTube care about each other's lives as well as what the topic might be on YouTube. Like everyone looks out for each other, but also takes an interest in what everyone's up to. Okay. Just getting down in my notes. So we're going to now look, I mentioned the flowchart that we do. Now, this is only the top half of it. It does go into more detail. We give our clients, we can either give them a hard copy if they come into the office. We can email it out to them. We send a lot of educational material to help people navigating their claims. It does sound a lot like Worker Assist. I always think that YouTube is I can't remember the word, a microcosm of real life. Is that it? Oh, you know what I mean. It's a very similar vibe on YouTube. Some of the people in the chat have come over from my community and they're all gems. But over time, when this channel builds as well, it'd be lovely to do some lives and information sessions and some panels. And panels are great fun. It's really good having other people up on the panel to chat and engage with the community in the chat and answer questions and so on. So there's lots of fun things we'll be able to do. But in very simplistic terms, this is essentially this, or these are the stages of a claim. So a worker gets injured. The definition of worker in the Act, there are some exclusions that aren't covered under the Act or under the definition of worker. So to have a workers' comp claim, you do need to be a worker. Also, our Act is for workers within the state. There's another type of workers' comp for workers who work for a federal organisation, say, for example, the Antarctic Division. They are covered by a different system known as Comcare. But an example of a worker or someone that doesn't fall under the definition of worker, a fisherman who get paid based on the catch rather than getting paid as salary. So there are some exceptions, but for the most part, if you're a worker in Tasmania and you get injured, you need to notify your employer. Employers in Tasmania have incident report forms. When somebody has had a physical injury, they're usually given that form to complete as well. And the employer, if they're a good one, will say to their worker, we think you should lodge a workers' comp claim as well. Now, the claim, there's 2 documents that people need to lodge a claim. Here's a prop I prepared earlier. Just checking I'm back on the screen. Yeah. So this form, it is actually being updated as we speak, but this is the carbon copy type form that if a worker comes into Worker Assist, we get them to fill this one out. But yeah, it's bring back the old carbon copy. So there's no carbon paper anymore, but essentially when you fill out the form on the front, it presses right through. So the worker gets to keep a copy, then they get it to their employer along with their workers' compensation medical certificate, and then the employer sends, so the worker gets to keep the brown copy, which I think is cruel. But there are also downloadable versions of this form, and we can send our clients the link to the website where they can do that too. And then they also need to get the medical certificate from their doctor, and it's a different certificate to when you just get a sick leave certificate. So it's a Form 1, and the doctor needs to fill that out, and then those documents go to the employer. We definitely recommend physically taking it to the employer, or if you're going to send it, use express post, or even if you're going to email it, do it with a read receipt so that you can track that the paperwork has got to your employer. They then need to provide the paperwork to their insurer within 5 days, and then the insurer will notify the worker that they've received the paperwork, and then it goes into that period where they investigate and decide whether they're going to accept or dispute the claim, and that can take, under the Act, up to 84 days for them to do that. And then hopefully it gets accepted, but if not, if it's disputed, we're able to give our work clients advice on what they need to do next. Now, we're more than happy to answer any questions too that come up after today. If you think of any, please drop them in the comments under this video. I will be monitoring our YouTube channel from now on. I also do a lot of stuff on LinkedIn. Sarah does a lot of stuff, and Mylinda on Facebook. And Dell also keeps an eye on it too. So we're all constantly checking out the social media platforms. But yes, if you do think of any questions, please let me know. It may even be a question that conjures up an idea for another YouTube live down the track. These are some of the statistics, some of the data that comes out of Worker Assist, just to give you guys an idea. I'm going to get me off the screen. I'm also just going to refresh YouTube. I hope whatever's glitching YouTube sorts itself out. Oh, I should give Mylinda a wrench as well. Make you a moderator too. So you can time out, or don't block anyone though. I'll have to check our Google account later to make sure no one got blocked. But you can time out trolls and bots and things. You have the power now. Yep, all the links are. Thank you, Cass. Look at you guys go. I hope you were all able to attend our next YouTube session, because you're all just on the ball. I love it. So I love data and statistics, and, they can be quite telling. But as far as our clients go, 54% are female. I think that's probably less of the ratio on YouTube. Most YouTube channels have about 60% female. But so 54% of our clients are female. 52% live in southern Tasmania. Now, we are based in Hobart, which is at the southern end of the island. And there's probably more awareness of our service, but also Hobart's the capital city, and it is the largest industrial centre on the island as well. But we certainly are doing a lot of community legal education in other parts of the state. 12% born outside of Australia, and 4% identify as Aboriginal or Torres Strait Islander. Each month we speak to around 200 clients. When Worker Assist first started, 200 clients is the number of clients that they spoke to in a year. And we're now handling 200 a month. And you saw the team, we're small but mighty. So we have grown significantly. In fact, over the past 11 years, Worker Assist has dealt with around 5,000 clients and received around 13,000 phone calls and requests for assistance. And the internet is our highest referral source, although we are starting to get referrals from psychologists and doctors, and even insurance companies are putting our details in their letters to workers. Rehabilitation providers are recommending us. We're definitely getting referrals from all over the place, but online is still our highest referral source. In terms of age, the average age of our clients is 45 to 54 years. One statistic that is pretty damning is that there's been a 45% increase in mental health claims, 72 cases of PTSD, 26 claims of sexual assault at work, and also another injury there that's mentioned are heart attacks. If you go over to the top right hand of the slide, looking at different issues, that's pretty interesting too, in terms of what our clients contact us about. So the Section 81A dispute that's mentioned in that first figure of 23% increase, that's where an insurer is disputing the claim. They will take it into the tribunal, and then it's on the worker to bring all their medical evidence and prove that it's a work-related injury. It's quite exciting to see we've had a 26% increase in lodging claim inquiries, because that means we're seeing more workers at the start, which is what we want. And sadly, though, I think too, another damning statistic is we've seen a 43% increase in questions regarding it should be employer behaviour, I think. That might be a typo from me. I wonder if Melinda's still around. Thank you, Scout. It's so nice to do a job where you're able to give people advice, but also just sort of hold their hand and reassure them they're going to be okay now that they've found Worker Assist, because they can, ask us questions, they can book appointments, they can come in and meet us if they want to. It's such a fulfilling type of work, because there's so many other even areas of law where you really just focus on research and writing an opinion and putting it out there, and you don't have that same level of personal interaction. I mean, we get to know our clients and we get to know all the characters in their family or friends, and so it's a 43% increase in questions regarding employer behaviour, I believe, which is also unfortunate because employers, again, it's really a straightforward insurance process. Nobody wants to get injured. Nobody wakes up in the morning and says, today's a good day to hurt myself. I really want to walk into a pole at work and give myself a concussion. Whoever wants to be injured? But if you are injured at work, you do have the benefit of this scheme in place. But a lot of employers are showing they can be quite antagonistic and negative towards a worker who does get injured at work. And it's, getting to employers and educating them as well is really crucial. But also down in the bottom right-hand side of the slide, you've got a blue wrench now too, Melinda. You've got the power. So we've got about another 20 minutes to go. So I think we'll leave the top 9 tips for another day. I think that's a really good one to do as a second YouTube live. Be good to just have a bit of a general chat with everyone, because I did say we'd leave about 15, 20 minutes at the end for questions and chat. But I do want to just look at that last data down the bottom as well, because there's some statistics in there that are things that we always keep in mind with every client that we're dealing with. In 2021, that's the most current statistic we've got, 7,000 from WorkSafe, 7,575 injuries were reported in 2021. Now, in an island of just over 500,000 people, that's quite a chunk of workers who get injured at work. The average wage of the workers, between 50 and 70,000 a year. And if we do another YouTube live and go into more detail, there's a provision under our Act for a thing called step downs, where over a period of time, if you have an accepted claim, your wage payments are stepped down to 90% and then down to 80%. There are some exceptions. There are some professions where it goes to 95 and then 85, and there are other professions where it doesn't step down at all, but not many. The police are one where I think it stays at 100%. Or if it does go down, it goes down by 5, not 10. So if you're on a salary of 50 to 70,000, by the time your salary has dropped down to 80,000, there's a lot of financial hardship we're seeing with our clients. And 7% of our clients have told us they had to sell possessions just to keep them afloat while they had their claim. And 25% also required assistance from friends and family, it usually is, to pay bills while they're also on workers' comp. And that's the system should not leave workers out of pocket because they had the misfortune of being injured at work. So there's a definite problem with the system, and that's why I mentioned a bit earlier that the tribunal, one of the things they're looking at the moment is step downs and how they're impacting low-income earners. There was a report back in 2020 with recommendations regarding step downs, and hopefully there'll be some movement in that area soon, because we're seeing and hearing more clients with suffering from financial hardship, especially with the cost of living and everything else, mortgage payments, like everything's going up at the moment. Another statistic is that 43% of our clients had to seek some form of financial assistance from their family and friends following a disputed claim, because when your claim is disputed, if the insurer/employer succeeds on that initial hearing, payments stop until you can get it back into the tribunal and prove it is a work-related injury. And then your payments will kick in again and you will get back paid. But if you don't have the benefit of accrued annual and sick leave and long service leave to access, you've basically, from that date of that hearing, your payments stop. And a lot of our clients talk about how embarrassing it is to have to ask friends and family to borrow money and so on. My Linda, your blue wrench, you've got the power. You're a moderator. Oh, look. Cute. Scout just gave you a little lesson on how to be a moderator on YouTube. God, I love this. Is so much fun. I mean, I love doing YouTube anyway, but it's fun to me. I'm doing this for work. So, yeah, basically, Melinda, if any bots or trolls come in, we do, unfortunately, YouTube world, like anywhere else, does have its fair share of trolls. We get Russian bots that try to promote unsavory websites, and no channel is spared from them. So if you move your mouse to the right-hand side of your or any of the mods' comments and click on it, you'll be able to see different options. So you can, I've just clicked on Scout Inquirer. So you can, if Scout had a channel with content, you could go there and have a look at the channel. You can replace pinned messages. You don't want to report us. Remove means you're basically blocking. You're removing a comment. You can time them out. They actually get put in the naughty corner for 5 minutes. You can hide them as well, which is essentially blocking them. So, yeah. But I figured for our first one, give you guys all a wrench. A few others that popped in earlier, they'll have to come back to get one. But all the ones that have hung around, you've all got your wrenches. So that's kind of cool. There's heaps of other things we can do too, Melinda. We can do a poll while we're live. We could poll what's the topic you'd like us to cover next time, and they can vote on that while we're live. There's all sorts of fun things we're going to be able to do. So I'm going to actually stop the screen, and I'm just going to jump down a little bit. I'm going to save the top 9 tips for next time, because I think they're very specific to workers' comp claims and people with workers' comp claims, and I think it'd be really good to do a live on YouTube, and we'll promote it amongst social networks for people to jump onto the live and ask any questions, but also get tips about I know you do. If you want to suggest a poll, I can show you how it works, because this has been a bit of an experiment in one regard, but also just learning all the different things that we can do on YouTube. Plus, we've got a couple of incredibly experienced YouTube moderators who've joined us, which has been so helpful as well. Thank you so much too to everyone from my community who's come in today. You guys are awesome, honestly. And it's all going to help our little channel grow as well. So, oh, there's two of me on the screen. We do have a lot of fun with polls. We do Scout. But yeah, if you want me to show you how the polls work, Melinda, I'm happy to set one up. But also, if anyone has any questions, we've got 15 minutes before we wrap this up. But I really appreciate everyone coming in. We had lots of people popping in and saying hi, which is awesome. We're now over 20 subscribers. That's incredible for a week on YouTube. So thank you guys who subbed up after I asked you to over the weekend. Really appreciate it. And I don't know if there's that many channels on YouTube that do things like this. So I think it's pretty exciting to be able to chat about workers' comp in Tassie and get the message out there. And I think a lot of people too with YouTube, one of the great things about it is you can create a channel with a name that isn't your actual name. So you don't have to put your real name up if you don't want to. And I think that gives people that sort of anonymity, gives people confidence to ask questions as well. So I think that's another real benefit of being on YouTube is it's a platform where people might feel more comfortable asking questions using an anonymous name. Any topics? Are there any topics of groovers that are still in chat that you'd like to hear about on our next YouTube live? In fact, why don't I start the poll? Because we can put whenever you see WA, that's Worker Assist. And because of limited characters, I'm going to add the top 9 tips because that was one. And any suggestions for any topics? This is just a test poll. It's really just to show Melinda how it works. I actually asked a question earlier and you answered it in your informative presentation. This live stream's been so informative and very interesting. Thank you, Scout. Thank you. Because there's just a few of us now, can be a bit cheeky too. Scout is Sunny's YouTube godmother. Oh, she's not there. She's probably taken herself off to my bedroom. There's no Sunny. Thank you so much, Bristol. Are there any topics you'd like us to cover? I mean, you guys know what we can do in terms of YouTube. I mean, we could give you, a meet the team. We could do a live where you get to have us all up on the panel and you can, let's do that. Meet the Worker Assist team. The result of this poll may or may not be. Thank you, Melinda. Yeah, I don't know where she is. She might be in her igloo under the chair or she might be on my bed. That's honestly, every time I'm live on YouTube, Melinda, it doesn't matter what day of the week, time of the day or night, I always do a gratuitous Sunny shot for Scout. She's always on the ottoman. Not today. I'll just put as a third option. This is really just a little fun test poll, by the way. Let's just put recipes for good health and recovery. All right, so there's our poll, and then I hit ask your community. And cast your votes now, Groovers. The polls are really good too. And, yeah, I kind of like the idea of doing a live. Everyone's casting their vote. I can't cast the vote. When it's your YouTube live, you can't vote. But the polls are really good fun, and especially for like icebreaker questions and things like that. If people don't want to answer in chat, they can cast their votes and that can generate discussions. There's also a Q&A feature, which I need to work on that on my channel a bit more to see. I mean, we tried it one time and didn't quite work out what it was doing, and I haven't done it again, but everyone does love the polls. And, oh, look, meet the Worker Assist team. Looks like that's in the lead. So, yeah, I mean, sort of depending on, I mean, we could do all three of those, really. But I like the Meet the Worker Assist team. And, yeah, we can do a panel where everyone gets sent a link and everyone can be in their own offices, but we can all be sitting up on panel like the Brady Bunch. Doing our thing. Right, we've got 10 minutes before we finish, so just a few other things. We are funded by the Work Cover Board Tasmania, and funding is due to end on the 30th of December this year. We would really love to keep going, obviously, because that's how we get paid salaries. And we think we do a pretty good job. So there's the now I didn't actually copy paste. Hang on, let me just do that now. We do have a little survey link. I'm just going to manually type it over here on my other laptop. And then I'll drop that into chat if anyone wants to do the little survey. But it really helps us with gathering all that data and the statistics we were looking at earlier in terms of funding applications, because we can show, how much we've grown, the areas that we're working in. I mean, the fact that we've come such a long way, originally 200 clients a year and now it's 200 a week. So I'll just highlight that, and I'm going to have to email it to my other laptop. It looks taking a little while to load up. Unless you guys are all super fast and I know the Brady Bunch. We need to fill a few screens. Have some of the volunteers maybe. Thanks, Cass. Has been informative. It's interesting. Heart attacks, sexual harassment, mental health, maybe a workers' comp claim. Yeah. Yeah, each situation is very different. That's true. It's very much like with all areas of law, the term case-by-case basis is so true. I'm just going to quickly flick that link to my other laptop. Multitasking. That's the first question Linda asks you in your interview with her when you apply for a job is, can you multitask? And if you say nay, forget it. Okay. I'm just going to get the link for the survey. I'd like to drop that in chat. It's like a little evaluation form. You can tell everyone how fabulous it was, how great I was, how fabulous Linda and Sarah and Del were in the chat. If you could click on that link, that would be great. We do like our surveys and feedback. Very important for what we do. I'll also close the poll. Looks like a meet the team. Meet the Worker Assist team. That could be really fun, actually, to do a panel. But, 60% of the votes. And, look, I think the other two are both, we might need to get a nutritionist. I can cook food that makes me happy, but whether it's good for our health and recovery, I don't know. But this is a sample poll. But, yeah, Meet the Worker Assist team could be really good fun as well. And poll is closed with a resounding 60%. I mean, you can't really compete with that. If you do feel like doing the survey, that would be really helpful. We would really appreciate that. Also, I have mentioned throughout the live Facebook and LinkedIn. The banner on the YouTube website down the bottom right-hand corner, where it is on all YouTube channels, has our logos to Facebook, LinkedIn, and our website. If you click on those links, they will take you directly there, and you can sub up to us on those different platforms. The website's got some really great resources on there as well. Facebook is very busy, lots of great things happening there. There's regular updates. We look at a lot of, the sort of World Mental Health Day and things like that. We're often promoting events like that. We promote a lot of local events, national events. Any changes to legislation get mentioned there. Lots of client testimonials, which I think are great. And we also have fabulous competitions as well. And we've also got that QR code that will take you straight to Facebook as well. Pretty similar again on LinkedIn, the content that we do there. And again, it's another way that you can contact our solicitors if you would like to book a time to chat with us. And a few more details there. If anyone is in Hobart Town or Tasmania generally, we've got our address in Hobart. That's the building where we are. Website, address, phone number, my email, direct email, and there's also a help@workerassist.org.au or mine Victoria at workerassist.org.au. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe if you haven't already. Drop a comment if you have any questions that you think of after we end the live. I will keep an eye on those, or you can message us in all those other different ways, including the information scrolling on the ticker on the screen. Thank you so much for joining in. Thank you for the mods who didn't have to do any modding. Yes, we are having a pizza night. I did think about that, actually. I didn't put up all of the different events that we've got on, but seriously, guys, we've got a lot of things happening on our Facebook page and also our LinkedIn. You'll be able to see all the different events that we have this week for Law Week. There's posters that you can even put up in your workplaces around Tasmania as well. Certainly email them to friends and family and encourage them to attend. But one in particular that's Wednesday night, Melinda and Sarah are doing an after-hours clinic offering free legal advice and also a bit of information about Worker Assist and what we do. And there'll be pizza. So, free pizza. We do like a lot of pizza at Worker Assist. Thank you so much for an awesome presentation, Tori. It was so wonderful being introduced to your wonderful co-workers. Thank you so very much at Worker Assist for being there for the public. Thank you, Scout. And yeah, look, I do talk about my job. I take a lot of pride in it and my fabulous co-workers. And it was pretty special to do this and have them dropping into chat so you could all put, not necessarily, you could put faces to the names. It's a really great organisation and I'm amazed at the amount of work we do and the amount of people that we're able to help with such a small team. And it's pretty exciting stuff to have a service like this. We're very proud of the fact we're the only service of this nature in the country. I think that's incredibly special as well. I think Tasmanian workers are very lucky. Thank you so much, Cass, for being here. Thank you to everyone who came in and really looking forward to doing another Worker Assist YouTube live very soon. And also putting together some little shorts just with like little simple tips for people. I think it'll be really good because that's a great thing to do on YouTube, and even some little videos and bits and pieces. So make sure you've hit that all bell for notifications so you don't miss out on any future content from us. But thank you again for joining us. Hit the like button on the way out, and Until next time, stay safe, everyone. And if you do know of an injured worker in Tassie, let them know about Worker Assist because we would love to help them out. Take care, everyone. We'll see you all again very soon. Bye.